for melodic heavy metal. Playing it heavier, louder, raunchier, faster. This is the Signals of Intuition.
Run for your life! Breaking down negotiations! Run for your life! Leading to the confrontation!
There's brand new Impellitteri right there with a lead-off single from their new record, The Nature of the Beast. That song was Run for Your Life. You're listening to the Signals of Intuition, your home for melodic hard rock and heavy metal. And tonight on the show, we've got the singer of that band, Mr. Rob Rock, who is the singer of Impellitteri, as well as Joshua, Driver, Axel Rudy Pell, Warrior, and he's been a part of a number of other projects, including Avantasia. So let's get Rob on the line right now.
Hello?
Hey, Rob, how's it going? It's Brandon calling from the Signals of Intuition. How's it going?
Brandon, how you doing, man?
Good.
Right.
Where are you right now? Are you located in the East?
Yeah.
Where am I talking to you from?
Yeah, I'm East Coast, Daytona Beach.
Oh, okay. Oh, right on, so you're in Florida.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, yeah, I know, you and Chris obviously grew up on the East Coast in Connecticut, was it?
Yeah.
Okay, and you're now out in Florida, right on. Is that where you live, or are you just, like, on tour, or?
Yeah, no, I've been here for a while, since 91, I think it was. So, yeah, it's been a while.
Oh, wow. Okay,
Yeah.
so long while now. When I do these, I always like to start at the beginning of you as a musician and then work our way up to what's going on with the band now. So I guess starting sort of from the beginning, where did you grow up and how did you get started in music?
Well, I grew up in Massachusetts, and I guess I got started in music just in my home, I guess. I had, let's see, how many kids? 5 kids, including me, so...
Oh, wow, busy household.
Yeah. My mom played piano, my dad played guitar, and they used to play a lot. My dad and my older brother used to play in hospitals and stuff with sick kids and things like that. So they made everyone learn an instrument. So my older brother did guitar, my sister did piano, I did drums. And
Oh, so you're originally a drummer then, eh?
yeah, yeah.
Did you, obviously being in a musical household, did you learn other instruments like guitar and piano and so forth?
No, I played around with them a lot, but I never theoretically learned them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was mostly drumming. I wanted to be in my brother's band because his band used to practice in our cellar, several days a week. So I was always watching them play, and I was into the drums. So I learned the drums, and I wanted to get in my big brother's band. And he said, "Oh, you can't be in my band unless you sing."
Oh, so that's how you got started, eh?
Yeah, so I started, along with learning every song I could on the drums, I would also learn all the singing parts that I could. And one day I was able to, the drummer left and there was a position, and then I had to audition and everything because the other guys in the band were like, "We don't want your little brother there." But, yeah, I remember because the first song I ever sang, quote-unquote, professionally was Elvin Bishop, Fool Around and Fell in Love. I had to play the drums and sing that at the same time for the band.
Wow, because that song, that's
Yeah.
hard enough just to sing on its own, never mind trying to drum
Oh,
that.
I know. I don't think my brother wanted me in the band. But I was there for a couple of years, and then the band went separate ways, and I was into much heavier music, because they used to play a lot of weddings and stuff like that, so they were playing everything that was on the radio. And I wanted to play, Zeppelin and ZZ Top and Leonard Skinner. I wanted to get heavier than that, so I did, yeah.
So the band breaks up. Did you meet Chris soon after, or did you start playing in like bar bands and stuff at that time?
I was playing drums in bar bands. I was playing in a band called Vice, and we were doing a lot of Styx and Kansas and, bands like that had a lot of vocals, which was popular at the time in the late 70s.
Yeah, of course.
When the 80s came around, it was, started getting into different stuff, and I was playing in the clubs, and Chris was playing guitar in Connecticut. I didn't know anything about him, but we were opening up for the Greg Allman Band at a bar in Connecticut. And Chris, he owned the PA and lights that the bar rented from him for the show, for the Allman show, I guess. And then he was there that night, and he saw my band opening up, and he just came up to me and said, "Hey, man, we need to play together, man. I think we could do some cool stuff." So I said, "Well, come down tomorrow during the day. Let me, see what you got." And he came down, and he brought his Marshall stack and everything. He just He was so loud. He sounded, but man, could he play? My jaw just dropped because I never seen anyone playing like that. I never heard of Ingve at that time, but there was Chris blazing in my face. It was like, oh my God. So he got in the band, and we just went in a even heavier direction. He was playing in that Van Vice with me for about a year. You know, we were playing 6-7 days a week, so we had a good thing going on. And then he was itching to get out in L.A., and I had built that band from the start 4 or 5 years prior to that, so I was a lot more hesitant to just pack up and leave. But Chris went out to L.A., and then about a year later, I got a call from Shrapnel Records there, Mike Varney, saying, we heard you could sing. You want to come audition? You know, and that was for Mars Project Driver with McAlpine, Aldridge, and Sarzo.
Yeah. So you didn't go to L.A. as Impellitteri. You went first to do Mars. Was that Chris who hooked up with Mike Varney to make that all happen? For you to get the phone call and so forth?
No, Chris wasn't much in contact with Varney at the time. He was out there trying to do his own thing. So he was out there trying to put a band together for a year while I was still back east playing the clubs. Then I went out to do the Mars. You know, we always kept in touch because good friends. And when the Mars thing broke up because Rudy and Tommy went on the Whitesnake, I was like, oh man, this sucks. I sold all my equipment back east. The band's continuing on without me. That's history. And now I'm out in L.A. with nothing. And Chris was like, well, I still need a singer, man, so you're coming with me. So we started writing songs, and we ended up with demoing the Black EP at that time. So, but we were trying to get signed for probably 6 to 8 months out there. And we did the Black EP, and then I got an offer from the Joshua band, who had a deal with RCA Records. So I went on to Joshua, and no sooner did I do that than he got a call from Relativity and got a Relativity deal. And because I had moved on, they said, well, let's put a super group together for you. And they got, Graham Bonnet and a bunch of other LA guys that were pretty big at the time.
Yeah, Pat Torpy, and I think Chuck Wright on bass, yeah.
Yeah. So he went and did that, and I was off doing the Joshua thing. And then later on, we came back together for Grin and Barrett album, which was early 90s, I think it was. So.
Yeah. Well, tell me about the Joshua album, Intense Defense, because I know that was done at, Dirk's studio, where, the Scorpions and Accept and all these bands have recorded. Did you work with Dieter during that, or did you work with, some of his other engineers that he had?
Yeah, well, we actually, rehearsed with Joshua Band for 2 years in his garage, which was a studio, converted studio, waiting on Dieter Dirks to finish up with Scorpions. And he just took forever and ever. And then RCA was getting impatient, so they told Dieter, get someone else to produce them. So that's when he got Eddie Kramer, who's produced Zeppelin and everybody else under the song, Jimi Hendrix.
Oh, of course. I went to NAMM and listened to a talk by him, and yeah, he's one of probably the most legendary producers there are, really.
We were ecstatic, man. It was like, oh, man, yeah. So we flew out to Germany. I'm thinking, it's going to take 6 weeks to do this. Wow. Well, it turned out to be over a year we were out there. We did the album with Eddie Kramer, and Dieter Dirks heard it and went crazy and said, oh, no, I didn't want you to record what they've been rehearsing for 2 years. I wanted you to change it and make it better somehow. And we were all looking at each other, what do you mean better somehow? We've been honing this for 2 years waiting for you. Going back and forth with Dieter about ideas about the songs and just doing everything we could to have it all ready for him. And then he wasn't happy with Eddie Kramer. They had a falling out, and then another guy came in, a German producer came in, and we ended up re-recording the album with him. So we were out there a lot longer. We thought we were going to be there for 3 months at the most, 6 weeks, 3 months. And it turned out to be a year and a half.
So, because the album came out in 88, right? So you guys went to Germany in 87?
Yeah.
I guess it would have been?
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. I think, you go in there for that long
to
do a record, But also, that's truly a sign of the times. Bands certainly don't woodshed like that in a studio anymore, unless it's their own, And
we're in the middle of, I don't know if they're cornfields or what, but there was nothing around. It was just a big, massive studio with a massive house. The house, it had everything. And Dieter Dirks' mom was cooking dinner for us every night, the big house there, and a big kitchen, and it was just a huge studio. It was actually 3 studios there. And it was cool. It was rock star, man. But we just were itching to go. So, but in the end, it kind of just fell apart in the end because, I don't know, there was a problem. Dieter with releasing it in the USA on RCA, things went back and forth, and then we had management problems, and in the end, it just kind of dissolved, Joshua carried on, but the guys in the band, they were just really upset about it. I ended up starting the second version of Mars with Roy Z. We called it Driver. and I had a couple guys from the Joshua band in that. You know, the bass player and keyboard player were in that in the beginning. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, 'cause I always wondered how you got to know Roy. You know, because it's just like out of nowhere, he's just sort of your producer and guitar player and everything. You know, it seems like that. But so the connections go that far back from the Joshua days.
Yeah, the bass player was with me, and Joshua knew Roy Z. He was friends with Roy because, you know, we had all rehearsed, including the Impellitteri, when we were doing the EP. We were all rehearsing down at Mates, which is a rehearsal studio down in Burbank. And everyone, I knew everyone else around there. And I think Roy was actually doing demos with York Fisher at the time when I met him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Who else would have been around at that time? Anyone you can distinctly remember?
Black Sheep was around. Vinnie Moore was around.
Moore, yeah.
I think the early stages of Marilyn Manson was playing in there, too.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Because you just think, too, I mean, that whole L.A. scene, it just seems like everybody kind of played on each other's records and jumped into each other's bands and, you know, all the rest of it, right? So.
Yeah, it was like a big community. It was like everyone was like, hey, man, yeah, let's go, you know? It's like, it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
And then, so after kind of Joshua and Driver, I guess that sort of dissolved as well, eh? Not long after. How long did that go, the second incarnation of that?
Well, we did 2 albums on the second incarnation, so it went pretty good. We never got a touring thing together. So, I mean, we did some shows, but never got an actual tour. And then Roy was off busy doing Bruce Dickinson and Rob Halford records. His producing career kind of took off, so... In the meantime, I rejoined with Chris, and we went on doing a whole bunch of Japan touring and visiting. I think I went to Japan, like, I don't know, 7 or 8 years in a row over there. Every time we released something, we go do a promo tour, then we come back in 3 months and do a tour over there, you know. And Japan still loves the band over there. It's really nice.
Yeah. So kind of on that note, I want to return back to this in a second, but just sort of, because I asked Chris a little bit about this too, and it's always kind of fascinated me how Japan sort of embraces, you know, music like Impellitteri and other bands, you know, of a similar nature, like, you know, say like Mr. Big and that kind of thing, and they have, you know, long established careers in the country, and then you've kind of got the States, which kind of ignores them unless they have maybe like a big hit or something, you know? So
yeah.
What do you think it is about Japan that sort of embraced, you know, music like your stuff, and that States just doesn't seem to get it? Do you have any kind of, having been there, do you have sort of any idea why that might be or what it is about them?
I think it has more to do with the culture. They seem to be they're very polite people, but they're very disciplined people. They're very disciplined and very schooled, and I think they hear our records and go, oh, let me learn this, and they respect it, and then they become fans and they follow it really fanatically, and they don't have like the radio airplay / hit song thing over there like we do in their culture. It's not like that. It's more karaoke and international bands that come in and out, and that's what we became, you know, to them as an international band, and they just loved it, and they embraced us and supported us so much, you know, but they didn't care about hit songs. They don't have that kind of radio setup there where, you know, everyone plays Here I Go Again 1 million times on every radio station, and then they become huge, but some other band, like in the States, doesn't have that radio play. They don't get heard, you know.
Interesting. I guess that's true, too. It's funny because you think of even the culture over there. Like, I know CDs are still big in Japan.
Yeah.
You know, and bands release singles and that kind of thing, right? And it's just, you're right, that sort of aspect, it is a completely different world there.
It is. It's really nice. I like it. I mean, I still like to hold a CD in my hand. I'm just, you know, they're not fanatical about downloads. They're not fanatical about, like, I don't know, I find America be more like a drive-through window. Oh, I got the new album this week. Oh, yeah, okay, I heard it. What's next? Instead of actually getting into it, or, you know, because I remember when I was learning all them songs in the cover bands, I put on the headphones and listen to it over and over and over again for hours and really get into it and learn it. I think they do that there. I don't think they do it in the States anymore. You know, the culture, the kids they just don't have time for it or something, or the attention span.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, you think back in the day, you know, what that kind of meant to get a single album, and you just, whether you're a musician or not, you just kind of woodshed with the thing for, you know, a month or two, because that's all you had. You know, that was your new album for the month, so hope it's good.
Yeah.
You know, so I know, just kind of sort of jumping to like the early 90s, you did an album with Axel Rudi Pell. How did you come to join him and work with him? Did you meet him in Germany, or did he come to LA or something? How'd you meet up with him?
Well, we were shopping the Roy Z version of Driver around trying to get a deal. We had a manager shopping it for us, a German manager. And when we actually got offered a deal for Driver, but it was on a German label, and they wanted us to move to Germany and all this other stuff. And nobody was interested in that, We didn't want to live in Germany. And little did I know, if we did that, we probably would have done actually pretty well. But that manager, after Driver was dissipating, he said, well, I have another guy, Absolutely Pal, I manage him, and he doesn't have a singer. Would you be interested in singing his album? And I'm sitting over there on the East Coast with Driver dissolving, thinking, oh, okay, I guess I'm going to go take Chris's offer to come back with him. But I didn't have any money. I just went through a divorce, and I was just flat broke. So I said, okay, I'll go do After Rudy Pell. So I flew to Germany. I did After Rudy Pell. That took about 2 weeks. And then from there, I had the money to fly and move back to the West Coast. And that's what I did. I moved back to the West Coast and started playing with Chris again.
And then, so you came back for Grin and Bear It. And I know, like, that album, it's kind of almost a black sheep in a sense of the Impellitteri stuff. I mean, because that has, like, a bit of funk on it, some, a couple of classic tunes on there. What was kind of, like, did you guys just really want to experiment with it? Or, because I know, like, grunge hadn't even really sort of broken by that point, right? Or it was just sort of starting to.
Yeah, I was starting to. I think the Black EP is probably the best representation of me and Chris just doing what we do. And then he did the Stand in Line album, the All-Star Band there. And then he had Grin and Bear It. And I think he was still searching, what do I do? These songs, I'm hearing what's coming up on the radio in America. I want to be an American star. And I think we were chasing around trying to find something that would connect instead of focusing on just what we do. I mean, we had a couple songs on the album that were, okay, let's do it, and this is what we do. And then we were trying to experiment and trying to find our way around. And after Grin and Bear It, even Japan was like, oh, yeah, or Black EP, And and we did, that's when we came up with, Answer the Master and Victim of the System. And really we just said, wow, this is us, man. And we just kept going in that direction after that. So. But I think Grin and Bear It was kind of experimental for at least from my standpoint.
Yeah, I mean, later on, the what the heck's the 2000 album called? I can't think of the name of that one.
Crunch, was it Crunch?
That's it. Yeah, that one, was a bit experimental too, and
yeah.
But I think it was more experimental as Impellitteri almost. Like Grin and Bear It, yeah, it sounds like you guys, but there's something like you say, it was still trying to find your sound, I guess.
Yeah.
Just talking about kind of Asia, I know you said Japan is a big market for you guys. Do you guys have a following in other Asian countries?
Well, little did we know. Well, we knew, but they told us, but we didn't really connect. At least didn't connect in my head. They said, "Oh yeah, we saw your records in Korea and all over Asia." I said, "Oh, okay, cool." And then last year or 2 years ago, whenever it was that we played, we got invited to play in Korea. Of course, that's when North and South Korea were going at it heavily, and we were all like, "Oh man, should we even go?" We said, "Yeah, let's go, man. Let's go. Let's go for it." Because we were headlining. They offered us to headline this big outdoor festival, and we're like, "Headline? Really? Okay, let's do it." So I think if we were opening up, we probably wouldn't have done it, but because we were headlining, we said, "Yeah, let's do it." And we went over there, and there was thousands and thousands of people there. And it was amazing. They were like, wow. And everyone there was crazy for us. And we're like, man, it feels like Japan in 1993 or something.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy. And they all had all our albums, and they knew all the songs and everything. And it was just like, wow. So we're hoping that we can follow up with this album, that we can get back not only to Japan, but also include Korea now as a normal thing,
Of course.
It was our first time there. It was great.
That's so cool. Yeah, especially to not know you've even got this market for your music, and you show up, and it's like, whoa, what happened here? Where have you guys been all our lives?
It was a surprise, man. What happened was the first time we were booked there 2 years prior than we actually played it, and then it got a tsunami or something went through there. It wiped out the fairgrounds that it was on. It was flooded, so they canceled that show. And then the following year they did a show without us, but then the year after, 2 years later, we were actually headlining the show. So it kind of was pretty cool that they wanted us bad enough to actually rebook us, 2 years later. So it was really cool. It was the biggest show of my life, I'll tell you that. I think it was close to 100,000 people there.
Really? Oh wow!
Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah, that's amazing. Where. Okay, yeah, you better get back to Korea. Yeah,
yeah,
that's for sure.
Yeah, I was like, wow, this is my new favorite place now,
I got a question for you, just kind of about writing when it comes to you and Chris. How does it work? Does he basically come up with everything and say, here's the melodies, here's everything I want you to do, just sing it for me? Or do you guys kind of sit down where he, do you work out songs together and try to build the songs? Or what's your songwriting relationship like with Chris?
Well, he usually works out the songs on guitar with a drum machine. And then he'll send it to me and say, well, what do you think? I said, well, you got any ideas? He goes, well, for some parts I have ideas, but you just do what you do, and then we'll see. You know, and most of the time it was like, okay, let's go with that. I'm thinking, well, what was your idea? Oh, never mind, I like yours. And then other times it's like, you know what? I had this in mind when I was writing it. I could still hear it in my head. Do you like it? And then I go, yeah, all right, I'll work on that. And then I'll take that and run with it, with his melody idea or his lyric or title. So we kind of go back and forth. He usually has something when he plays. He hears stuff in his head while he's playing guitar. Sometimes he hears vocal melodies, but then he won't always share them with me. He says, "No, come up with something. I want to hear what you come up with." So that's how we go back and forth with each other.
Sure, that's kind of nice though, because you've got essentially someone else to take their hand at trying the song, you know, and they might take it, like you say, in a totally different direction that he hadn't considered with it.
Yeah, that happens a lot with us. So it's pretty cool, you know.
Yeah. So you mentioned kind of leaving, and you've done obviously several solo albums in between Impellitteri stints. Why did you decide to leave in the, I guess it'd be late 90s, early 2000s to focus on a solo career?
Yeah, that was like 2000, I think.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I had gotten an offer from JVC Japan to do an album. And I spoke to Chris today, man, you mind if I do a solo album over here? And he says, nah, that's all right, go ahead, go for it. And then when I actually did the album, he wasn't happy with me because he thought it was too close to what we were doing. And after we had talked it out, he was like, yeah, man, I thought you were going to do a ballad album or something, you know, something laid back and something a lot different than Impellitteri. And then you go do some heavy songs like that with Roy Z. He says, yeah, I'm not happy about that. So we at that point, we were just like, you know, we didn't really fight about it, but we were just like, he's like, well, you know, go ahead and do your thing, and I'll just do another album with Graham on it, and that's what he did. And then I did my thing, and then actually I think he worked with another singer for an album. And of course, with every singer, I think after he did a couple of albums without me, I think the writing partnership was different than with me. And then he said, listen, man, we're going to get together and do this or what? And I said, yeah, let's do it. So we came back. I think it was with Wicked Maiden at that point, and from then on, we both were very confident in what we do, not only as individuals, but as together. I think we realized more that of our chemistry. You know, prior to that, it was just taken for granted, kind of, but not really knowing.
Yeah, so sometimes, too, it's just kind of getting that time in and looking back and going, oh, okay, this is what works, you know?
Yeah, and in you know, the mutual respect and the mutual songwriting, it's really cool. Now it's just like, here, yeah, let me hear what you got. Okay, no, let's try this, let's try that, and go back and forth. And I think we end up in a better place because of it now, you know? Of
course. And I'm sure just being older and just kind of getting a sense of, after you've done some more solo records and that kind of thing, you kind of know what works for you and what doesn't, right?
Yeah, that's true.
I got a question. On Holy Hell, I know you had Jacob Hansen mix that one. Did you use did other albums have different mix engineers on them? Like, I figure with Roy, you know, Roy's a pretty competent mix engineer, too. Have you mixed it up with who you have, or was that kind of like a one-off, let's see what Jacob can do?
Well, I had Roy Z do the Rage of Creation and Eyes of Eternity.
Oh, he did those two,
and then
okay.
Yeah, he did those two, and then he was doing Halford, I think he was, or he did Bruce Dickinson. He was doing Dickinson and Halford about the same time, or one after another. And he's actually a mutual friend of ours suggested Jacob Hansen, and Roy said, yeah, try Jacob out. And Jacob did Holy Hell, but Roy Z was there the whole time during Holy Hell. He wasn't physically there, but I was sending Roy Z Jacob's mixes and stuff and saying, hey, man, what do you think? You know, and I remember one time he said, oh, you need to sing some high parts in this song, man. I was like, what? Yeah, no, sing some high harmonies over this part. What? So I had Jacob bust out a mic during the mixing section, and I'm adding high parts to it. But Jacob was really cool, and, you know, it came out great, too. So I still had Roy Z producing it, but Jacob was mixing it. And then in the same thing, you know, with Garden of Chaos, Roy Z wasn't quite, he was still there helping me with writing the songs and stuff and putting in his input. And I had CJ Grimmark from my touring band was basically producing that as far as recording it and stuff. And then Jacob Hansen ended up mixing that as well.
Oh, he did mix that one. Okay.
He did it, yep.
Here's a question for you. How did you come to meet Tracy Schell? Because he used to drum in a band that I really like from Minnesota called Gemini. Because you're in Florida, I'm guessing he moved out there? Is that what happened? Or how'd you come to meet him?
Yeah, he was living in Florida. I was, after I did Rage of Creation, I was offered a tour of Europe, so I had to put together a band, and I just started putting the band together here in Florida. And I'm trying to remember how I came in touch. I think I put an ad out for players, and I remember Rick Renstrom answering it, and I think Tracy Shell answered it as well. And I just started auditioning players, and he was really good. So, you know, and then he told me he was working with Lance King and all that stuff. So it worked out pretty good. Tracy's a great drummer. Great drummer. When I was doing when I did the live video in Atlanta, Tracy did that as well, that live show.
Yeah, he was on that one.
Yeah,
no, because I've got that one as well. I've got that on DVD, and like you say, I remember that, and I'm like, what? Tracy's a drummer? No way, you know. So that was because I know on Holy Hell you had Bobby Jarzombek, I think, drumming on that one, right?
Yeah.
Well, and Toby from Ed Guy as well, and Gus G, and there were a lot of stars on that record.
Yeah, I love that record. It came out good. Yeah, Jarzombek added a really cool, heavy downbeat feel to it that I really like.
Yeah, it was a good disc. I gotta say, another record that you did that I really, really enjoyed was the Warrior album, Code of Life. How did that come together? Roy played on that one, right? He was a part of that one?
Yeah, he was a part of that. He was working with Joe Floyd at the studio, which wasn't far from Roy's house. When we did Rage of Creation, we recorded it at Joe's studio.
Okay, that makes sense, because they were both about the same time, right?
Yeah. Well, no, Warrior was a few years after that. But I think Joe remembered me from the Rage of Creation sessions. And then when he needed a singer, he called up Roy and said, hey, do you think Rob would do this? You know. So they called me and said, yeah, I'll do it. And then I really liked it because it was a different, although it's heavy and stuff, it was a different thing for me because what Joe wanted as a producer, he wanted more theatrical kind of performance out of me, which I love the challenge, so I went for it, and I really liked the results. I think it's different for me, but I really like it as well, you know? Yeah,
that record turned out great, Day of Reckoning, there's some great tunes on that one.
Yeah, it was some good stuff there.
Yeah. And then obviously, you had Toby sing on Holy Hell, but you also did the first Avantasia record, right? How did you come to do that?
Well, in the early stages of Avantasia, Toby got in touch with me. I didn't know him prior to that, but he was a big Mars Project Driver fan. And he called me and asked me to sing on it. And I said, yeah, sure, just send me what you want me to sing. And I ended up singing 4 songs, and he used 2 of the songs on the Avantasia 1 and 2 of them on Avantasia 2. That I was part of.
Oh, that's right. You are on number 2.
So
okay, that's right. Yeah.
So it worked out pretty cool. And I had recorded those parts here in Florida.
Oh, so that was kind of like an internet type thing, eh?
Yeah.
You just sent them to him.
Yeah.
Did you ever tour with them at all?
With Avantasia?
Yeah.
No.
I don't even know if they toured on those early albums. I know they, obviously toured now, and they've been touring for a while, but I don't know if they did anything back in the day.
Yeah, they weren't doing anything early on, but I think once it caught on, they started doing. First, they did some festival shows in the summer over there in Europe, and then they started doing full tours.
Have they ever brought you out to do guest anything like that, or no?
No.
Oh, that's a bummer. That'll be cool to see. Have you up there to sing some of those.
Yeah, that would be cool. I guess the flights and all the other expenses that go along with it, they probably just...
Oh, of course. Yeah.
I don't know.
And then, so I guess let's talk about kind of the new record. It feels so funny to call it the new record because I still think of Venom, too, because these albums, to me, they feel so similar. They're different just enough, but you still had, Greg Reilly mixing, and I think it's the exact same band lineup as well, right?
Yeah, it's the same band, yeah.
It was done at NRG, wasn't it? NRG Studios?
Yeah.
Yeah? Is that the same for both records? Like, like I said, it just kind of felt like a continuation in that kind of sense anyways.
Yeah, I think it was. But yeah, we kind of kept the same formula, except for the songs. I mean, they're new songs, and for me, actually, I did this album a little different vocally. I actually demoed all the songs at home, and I finally broke down and bought one of them digital workstations.
Yeah? What are you recording on?
Just $100... Sonic something. I can't even remember the name of it.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. But I have a really nice microphone that I bought from Roy Z back in 2000 when I did Rage of Creation. He's like, oh, this mic's perfect for you. And then about a year later, he's like, hey, man, remember that mic you're using? I go, yeah, you want to buy it? Oh, okay, I bought it. So I bought it from him, and I've been using that mic ever since. So here I am plugging that mic into a $100 system, recording demos whenever I feel like it.
Yeah, the mic's probably worth 10 times.
Yeah, and some of that, well, a lot of that stuff we actually kept for the album because, just something about a certain vibe you catch. For instance, the verses in Phantom of the Opera where I'm doing, like, the verses in an ad-lib kind of fashion. Yeah, that was just done at home. I tried to recreate it in the studio, and Chris was like, "There's just some magic, something about the thing you did at home, man. I just like it better." He said, "Can you bring that to the studio and see what they can do?" So I brought that to the studio, and they just flew it into the session. And I'm like, "Dang, that works? Yeah, you got a great signal here, man." So whenever we needed anything that we liked on the demo better than when I was re-recording, we used it. So it's pretty cool. I was like, "Wow, this is great, man."
Yeah, no kidding, and saves you a lot of time too. How is it working with Mike Plotnikoff as a producer? How does he approach it? Because I know some producers are very hands-off and just like to do the technical stuff. Some are, involved almost with the writing and stuff. How does he work in the studio?
Well, I wasn't there at the studio when they were recording the band. I was in Florida. They were out in California, and that's when Mike got involved with the recording. So I actually did not meet Mike myself.
Okay. Did you do like everything, or you said you flew down to LA at some point to cut vocals, right?
Actually, I cut vocals in Florida as well.
Oh, you did? Well, yeah, because you used some of the demos, but
Yeah.
you did some proper sessions for vocals in Florida as well, for the album?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, a lot of it. So.
Okay. And then, so when it comes to like touring and stuff, do you guys just get together for like a week or whatever, bang out a couple of rehearsals and hit the road kind of thing?
Yeah, basically I'll fly out to LA a couple weeks before the tour and start rehearsing. The band is usually rehearsing already. I start rehearsing myself at home, and we get together and then we pound it out and then we go.
Mm-hmm. Now, I'll tell you, like, as a fellow singer myself, like, one of the big things, your voice is just so temperamental, like day to day. You're tired, you're sick, whatever, right?
Oh God!
Yeah, and it's just, some days you thought you got a good night's sleep, and you're like, why am I struggling to hit that note? Kind of thing.
Yeah.
What do you do to keep it in shape when you're touring?
Oh, I cry and whine like a baby. I gotta get my sleep. Well, I'm exaggerating, but maybe someone else. No, he's not exaggerating. No. But yeah, I try. For a singer, at least from where I'm coming from, it's an all-day project, man. I gotta watch what I eat. You gotta watch what I drink in the morning because I gotta sing at night. I can't down 3 cups of coffee in the morning and then have my full reserve for the night. Even caffeine will dry me up, or you know what I mean. All kinds of weird stuff. Can't be eating all hot buffalo sauce, chicken with buffalo sauce, something that's gonna spicy food it up, and I try not to eat before the show because I don't want a belly full of food. I'll start burping or something, and that, I don't need that distraction.
Yep. I love talking to other singers about this because I do all the exact same stuff. Like the day of the show, you really, really watch what you eat, and I guess I'm not going to have a coffee today, and not going to,
Yeah, I get jealous, man. The guitar players and drummers, they do whatever the hell they want. They show up and do their thing. They're not worried about the same things we are. I mean, it's just, I guess because it's actually our instrument is our body, so it's a little different, and I just don't like the way it's so susceptible to colds and all, humidity and stuff like that. And
well, it's funny. It's like mentioning humidity. I can't think of how many outdoor shows I've seen, and you get these great singers, and that day it's like something's off. And it's like, oh yeah, the humidity really, affects your vocal cords.
Yeah, it dries. If it's changing climates and changing things like that, you said airplanes I hate because they dry you out, And you get up there, and if you don't have any moisture in your cords, it just doesn't last. It's like the biggest enemy of the singer, I think, is travel and the no sleep because that dries up your vocal cords, and then you're in trouble. Now you're just surviving.
Yep, exactly. What do you do before shows to warm up?
I got like a little 15-minute scale thing that I have. I went to a voice teacher I took 10 lessons out in L.A. when I was waiting for Dieter Dirks, and he would go through, make me sing all these scales and stuff, and I'd never done that before, and so I still use those today. I just throw them in as 15 minutes of vocal sounds, vowel sounds, and things like that, just going up and down a scale with it, and I try not to do too much, to be honest. I've heard from other singers, you got to sing an hour a day, you got to sing an hour before the show and be fully warmed up by the time you hit the stage. And I'm like, I've tried that, and I ran out of gas halfway through the set. So now I warm up, and I let it relax. An hour before the show, I won't do anything, and then I go up there. I can last the whole set,
Exactly. Speaking of touring now, will you guys be touring for the new record? I'm guessing you probably hit Japan and stuff, eh? Asia, Europe.
Yeah, we're talking with Japan's talking about it right now, and of course I said, make sure you get Korea. And but we also have a U.S. agent actually talking to us right now.
Really? Do you guys tour the States much, or have you ever? Because I don't see your names come up on...
No, we've done shows here and there. We do a lot of festival stuff, but as far as getting on the road and actually touring, not really. You know what I mean? Not lately, I'll tell you that. And we're thinking to ourselves, does this make sense? I mean, we can travel all over the country, but our fans, are they going to come out and see us? You know, we don't know. We have that little unknown factor there. So they're trying to work that out and iron that out and see what kind of routing and what kind of expenses there are, and if it makes sense feasibly to do it. But there's probably like 6 weeks of touring on the table right now throughout the United States. So that would be awesome, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I certainly hope you guys hit somewhere near Detroit, because I would love to finally get a chance to see you, you know? Because like you say, you're always in... Like, do you guys play Europe a lot?
We do the festivals in Europe. Like, we did Spain and Germany and several of those over there, Holland, things like that. So, but we haven't done a club tour over there or not. You know, I know from the Rob Rock Band, we did a club tour, a small theater tour over there. We did that a couple times, but I haven't done it with Impellitteri. Over there, we've done the one in Spain and Bang Your Head and a few other ones. So
yeah, some of those. Did you guys ever play Chvotkin?
No, I haven't played Chvotkin. No, I would like to play Chvotkin.
Yeah. That's kind of like the holy grail of metal festivals, right?
Yeah.
So obviously we've talked about you guys have Nature of the Beast coming out, and you're doing that. What else do you guys have on the table? Like, I'm guessing you guys are going to do another Impellitteri record, right?
I would imagine we would. After Venom, I was like, are we doing another record? And we're like, I don't know. Then when it came up, when both Frontiers and JVC Victor said, hey, we want another record, we just looked at each other and said, you want to do this? I said, yeah, let's do it, man. So we did it. So I think after this, I mean, Nature of the Beast is getting a lot more attention than Venom did. And it seems to be going over much louder than Venom. So I would imagine we'd be doing another one.
Right. Do you guys think you'll do another live record? Because the last one was, 20 years ago, something like that?
Yeah, I don't know. I suggest that we just start recording everything, and then we'll have options, you know?
Exactly, yeah. Try like a couple gigs or something and kind of piece together the best from it.
Yeah, I know, like JVC Victor started recording our shows over in Japan, and that's on the internet you can see some live pieces that are up there that they threw together and put out there. They never spent the money, technically, to fix it up in any way, you know what I mean? They just put cuts together, and it came out great, actually. The people are like, come on, man, let's stop using it. Let's see the whole thing. I think if we get out there and start touring, I think we should record it. Maybe that would be great, come up with a live one.
Of course, yeah, get a couple cameras and, get something going. Are you going to do you have any plans to do another solo record, or is that kind of put to bed? Because it's been, 10 years, something like that, since the last one?
I get a lot of requests for it, and I'm thinking about it. I mean, I'd like to do it, but I'm just busy, I'm just like, I got a lot of songs that are half-written, so to speak. They're not quite finished yet, but it's just a matter of, I don't know if I should try to do a crowdfunding thing, or if I should try to approach a label or not. I just don't have I'm just focused on Impellitteri right now, to be honest. I'm not focused on my solo thing. When I started the solo thing, I was like, if I can do 3 or 4 albums and do a live DVD, I'll be happy, And that's what I did, and I'm happy with it. And I would like to do another one, but the way that the industry has changed so much, it's just like I'm still wondering, I'm still kind of lost for me personally in my mind. Like, do you do the crowdfunding and then put it out on the internet and try to get download? I think if you do the math, you might make more money selling, I don't know, pick a number, but if you sold 5,000 CDs on your own or 50,000 with a label, you might make more money doing it on your own. And do you need a label these days, or what are they actually doing? I know JVC and Frontier is doing a lot of promotion, at times, and it's good for that. And that's something I would have to think it through, and I don't have the information for it. No one has yes, this is the way you should do it. Not like the old days. If you do this, and do this, and you'll be successful. Now it's like it's constantly changing. I don't know. You seem to have to. I would think might have to have a video for every song nowadays.
No kidding. Make money off YouTube or something. That seems to where a lot of the audience is.
Yeah, I think we'd have to set that up ourselves. Do the Pandora and all that stuff. But I don't have the business answers, and I don't really have the time to pursue it right now. for the past few years of raising a 12-year-old. You know, it's just I've been busy doing that. So, so my head's divided. You know, back when I was doing my solo thing, that's all I had. That's all I did. And right now, I'm just divided. So I would like to do a solo thing again, but I really want to be able to focus on it, not just do something and throw it out there, you know?
Yeah, exactly. No, it's funny, I was talking with a young kid, like I've played in a band, we've put some albums out, obviously nothing to the level your stuff has hit, but, you know, I've dabbled in the label thing and all the rest of it, and he was like, what should I do? Like, should we get on a label? And I'm like, 10 years ago I would have said yes.
Yeah.
Today, I have no, you know, exactly like you said, I'm like, I have no idea what to even tell you. Everything's changed so much, I'm like, maybe put it on YouTube and try to promote it through social media and hope something happens. I'm like, I don't know anymore.
Yeah.
You know, do you need a label? I don't know. But I mean, you know, Frontiers and JVC seem to be working well for you guys. So it's like, maybe you still do. Like, you know?
Yeah. But then again, we're focusing a lot in Europe and Japan as well. But Frontiers has opened a lot for us in the States. And it's funny, an Italian label making waves in the States is great, you know? I'm grateful we're on that label.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I just think, you know, even the few CD shops that we have here in town carry a lot of Frontier stuff. So I think they're doing a good job in that sense of making it available to people who still want to go out and buy it, you know?
Yeah, especially vinyl. I mean, got a lot of vinyl collectors out there, and it's really cool to see the album on vinyl again, you know?
Yeah, it's kind of that disappeared forever, and it's, oh, this is back again. Great.
I know. It's like, what?
Well, Rob, I want to thank you so much for taking the time out to do this interview, and, you know,
Yeah.
not only just giving your time, but I just want to say, you know, thanks for all the inspiration and, you know, great performances over the years.
Thank
As you
you,
can tell, I'm a fan of your stuff, and I just hope you keep doing what you're doing, and I hope to hear some more new music from you guys.
All right, well, I appreciate it. I appreciate the interview.
And yeah, if you guys ever make it out to Detroit, I would definitely love to come see you, or somewhere in the area anyway, so hope to see you guys on the road at some point. Hopefully this tour happens.
Yeah, I'm hoping so.
Cool. All right, Rob, well, I'm going to let you go. Thanks again, and best of luck with the new record.
All right, cool.
So, yeah, other than that, I'll talk to you soon, and yeah, best of luck. We'll see you around.
All right, man.
All right. Take it easy.
All right, have a good night.
Yep, you too.
All right.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye.